Hello darkness, my old friend.
We're trying to film me making a hot chocolate, and as you can see from the last clip, it went everywhere. It is all on my hoodie. My hoodie is now stained. I got it on the kitchen counter, I got it on the floor. Oops. So that was a fail. Abigail and welcome back to another video. So for the last 2 weeks I have been doing exams / mock exams. Now I did a week full of GCSE exams and a week full of mock exams, which are like basically fake exams under actual exam conditions. During these exams I had a lot of spare time and I came up with a top 10 list of things you can do when you're bored in an exam. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you can do in exam is sleep, but make sure if you do sleep, do not snore or make any noises, because it will be very awkward for you if you wake up and you'll be extremely embarrassed. But sleeping is definitely the one thing you can do, and especially in my case, like, you know, I get really tired. My sleeping pattern is messed up, so I will sleep easily in an exam. However, make sure if you are sleeping in an exam you have finished. Like, you don't want to go to sleep and not have finished and then you have no time left to complete it or finish any questions you haven't done. So just make sure do that. So the second thing that I love to do is draw on my hands. Now, let's just say I had a Welsh mock on Friday. I drew all the way up here, all over my hand, on my fingers, everywhere, because I was so bored that I had absolutely nothing to do and random things came to my mind that I had to tell my friend. So little story time, I was in my actual chemistry exam and I had about 45 minutes to spare, and within that time random video ideas came up, including this one. That is why this video even happened, is because I thought about it in a chemistry exam. So the third one is sing songs. Now when I say sing songs, I don't mean out loud, because that would be embarrassing, annoying, and you would probably get told off by the teacher, or as they like to call it, adjudicators. Yeah, so sing songs in your head. Now this is what I did. I had about 8 minutes left in one of my mock exams the other day. I picked 2 songs that I knew the lyrics all the way through and I sang them in my head from the start to finish, and the 7 minutes was pretty much over in no time. So the fourth thing is definitely to stay hydrated. So obviously in the exam, if you're from the UK anyway, you would have to go in the exam with, if you brought a bottle of water into the exam, you'd have to take the label off because they literally don't trust us and they think we're going to cheat, and honestly, don't blame them. So obviously bring a bottle of water, you need to stay hydrated, but make sure you don't drink too much so that you have to go to the toilet, because that is really embarrassing. You have, like in my case, I'm at the back of the exam hall and walking all the way forward with everyone staring at you, looking up from their papers, being like, why is she leaving, isn't fun. So one thing, if you are going to stay hydrated, don't drink way too much, or at least go to the toilet before the exam. Number 5 is definitely the one I do the most. Disassembling and reassembling my pen. Now I got a little bit of a story time about this. I was in one of my mock exams the other day and I was disabling my pen. I put it into 8 parts, I believe. And I pretended in my head that I was doing a YouTube video of how to reassemble my pen. I enjoy doing it. It kept me occupied whilst the clock in the exam hall was carrying on. I was pretty happy about it and I did it several times. and I do it every single exam. Especially if you have a pen that you can disassemble a lot, I would highly recommend taking it into the exam just so you can do it if you're bored. Number 6 is naming people. Now, I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean, where I usually sit, like I said, my coordinated seat in the exam hall is like right at the back, so I can see quite a lot of people. Obviously you can't turn around to look at people, so if you're at the back you have the best view. So what I like to try and do is challenge myself to whoever I see and try and guess who they are from either side profile or from behind. And it's a pretty fun game because you're like, oh, do I know who that person is? And then later on I'm like, oh, it was this person or that person. Another game linked to naming people is naming girls and boys in your year. So this is what I did as well. I was going up and down the rows of who I could see and naming girls and boys in my year because I got so bored to the point I had no choice. So the 7th one is also kind of linked to the names in a way, due to the alphabet. So this is another one I did in biology exam. I had spare time from that and I decided to say the alphabet in my head and then do it backwards, and surprisingly that took up 2 minutes, and those 2 minutes, yes, it's like a small amount, but 2 minutes is 2 minutes still, and it's actually a good way to like take up a bit of time. So another thing you can do as well, which I've done a lot of times, is organize your desk. So usually you have your own things, maybe if it's in a maths mock or maths exam, you have like your own calculator, then the compass, then the protractor, stuff like that, or just whatever you've brought and they provide stuff for you. So I usually try and line up my ruler and the pen and the pencil, the rubber, anything on my desk just to keep me occupied. I put everything in the middle, everything precise. Yeah, okay, it's boring, but the whole exam's boring, so what else am I supposed to do? Number 9 is one that I always do because, like I said, I'm bored. I don't know how many times I'm saying I'm bored in this video, but I'm bored, so I have literally nothing to do. So one of the things I do is I go through each question I have answered and find my possible marks that I could get out of wherever the total is, and then I count how many times I'm confident with it, I guess. Like if there's a question I've answered, I'm like, yes, that is 100% the answer, I will count it, or I'm very, very close to getting a mark from like graphs or something. And then I write down my hand and then tell everyone as soon as I get out, because as soon as I get out of the exam I forget everything. A story time about that is my mum said to me, oh, how was my maths mock? I said, absolutely rubbish, we didn't learn hardly any of it. And she said to me, oh, what was in it that you didn't know? I was like, do you really think I remember what questions I read in the exam when I didn't even know them, and as soon as I'm out of the exam hall I don't remember anything? And she was like, yo, you must remember. I was like, no, I really don't. Number 10 is obviously sleep even more. So like I said in the beginning, you can sleep 100%, but sleep as much as you want, and that is one way to get rid of time. 100% recommend. A little story time about me sleeping in one of my mock exams the other day. In my maths mock, I fell asleep for about 6 minutes. One of the teachers, or as they call it, adjudicators, came up to me and tapped me on the shoulder. Now, I was in one of these sleeping stages where I was asleep, but I could still hear like things going on around me. Even though the exam hall is quiet, I could still hear her footsteps coming towards me. However, when she tapped me on the shoulder, I was a bit startled, and she asked me if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Obviously I was whispering this because I'm not allowed to talk that much in the exam. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. She goes, are you sure? Because you wasn't moving. I was just like here, sitting here like, what are you on about? I'm totally fine. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. She goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry for disturbing you. It just seemed a bit off for me, and I was just like, I'm totally fine. I was tired. I was very, very tired, be fair. And I don't think I was feeling that well at the time, but but I was literally just falling asleep and she had to disturb me, which I was so annoyed about, because after that time I still had about 40 minutes left of the exam and I could not sleep at all because I was worried and paranoid that another teacher was going to tap me on the shoulder for the same reason. So I didn't sleep that much. Obviously, as you can tell, I had a lot of spare time in my exams because I did all 10 of these things repeatedly. So you guys, you should be doing your exam to the full time and making the most of your time within the exam. In my case, however, I'm dumb. I didn't know what I was doing and I just slept or did any of these other 9 things. But luckily for me, exams are practically over at the moment for this year, except for coursework, which is really doing my head in at the moment. But bring on year 11 and bring on another like 18 exams. Fun times. So this video was quite short, I do understand. But that's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a massive thumbs up, comment down below video suggestions, and of course subscribe. And press the notification bell down below so you get notified every time I upload. I upload every Wednesday at 4 PM British Standard Time. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye guys!